My name is Ian Eltron. I'm an alien from the planet Grencha. If you haven't watched my previous videos, please do so. With that out of the way, last time we talked about the incident and how I kind of killed two people, and then a Grenchian started coming after me. So today we will talk about the pursuit. Now before we get started, I just want to say I'm sorry there wasn't a video last week. My channel did get hacked, but we got it back, updated the security, so we should not have any issues from here on out. As I stated in the last video, I told David and Alex to run away when I saw a Grenchian heading right for me. As the Grenchian landed, I had no clue in that point in time what I was going to do. He told me he was there to take me away and take me to Grencha to be terminated. I told him no. He looked very puzzled and wasn't quite sure what to do. He says, but this is what the order calls for. And I did the only thing I could think of at the time. I ran, or rather flew. Now when I was flying away from that alley, when I was being chased by the Grenchian, I feel like out of the corner of my eye, I saw somebody. But when I looked back, they weren't there. So hopefully that's not some other bystander. You know, people are at their phones these days recording everything. I really hoped at that point that nothing like that happened. That was all my imagination. So as I flew, I had a few second head start because the Grenchian was not expecting this. And then he decided to fly after me. So I'm flying through as fast as I can, and this Grenchian, he's also very fast. So he's kind of keeping up with me, but like I said, I had a few second head start. And I start as I'm flying, I'm thinking, what kind of advantage do I have? Well, I know the landscape, but as fast as our minds work, he can adapt, sees at every turn I'm making and makes the exact same turn. So I thought I had to use other things, other variables that I had to take into consideration. So I flew up into the air and I surveyed everything, especially moving objects. There was a highway very close by, a lot of fast-moving cars, and a very fast-moving 18-wheeler. Now I had to take kind of a risk at this because the 18-wheeler wasn't going the exact same speed at all times. It didn't have cruise control, so he could slow down or speed up at any time. But this was the only opportunity I saw. So I flew through some alleyways, and I flew through a set of trees. Right on the other end of these trees is the highway. I calculated it, I did all the math in my head to where I'd fly straight in front of the 18-wheeler, and the Grenchian unfortunately would fly in front of it, hopefully just injuring him. I did not want to take another life today. I flew, hoping the math was done correctly, right in front of that 18-wheeler, just barely missed me, but hit the other Grenchian head on. Now at this point I wanted to tend to him, but the truck driver immediately got out of his truck to check on him. So I said, okay, what I need to go ahead and do at this point in time. This had all elapsed in about 3 minutes time. The pursuit only lasted 3 minutes. So I thought I'd go back to the original scene of the crime where the two men were dead and get rid of the bodies. As I went there, I found the cops were already there. Now I could not interfere in this investigation. That would just make me a person of interest, and that is the last thing that I needed at this time. So I said, okay, that's out of the question. We'll just have to deal with that. I'm pretty sure there's no evidence that ties back to me or David or Alex. At least I hoped, but I didn't have time to really check. But anyway, I decided to fly back to where the truck hit the Grenchian. Unfortunately, there were a group of people already there on the scene. Rubberneckers, people that got out of their car, saw the whole thing happen. I listened to them talk from behind a tree so they couldn't see me. He was dead. Now, there was no way with this big group of people that I could go in and pull him out, but I knew that if there was an autopsy done on him, as soon as he is cut open, they will know that he is not human. Now, whether they release this information, whether they send this to the government, I had no clue. I had no idea what was going to happen, but I knew I couldn't risk further incriminating myself and trying to steal the body. So I decided to let it go. So here I am. I've murdered 2 people. I've murdered a Gretchen. People are going to find this. Now, the bodies themselves, the 2 bodies of the 2 people that I killed were so badly thrown into that wall, it's going to defy physics on how in that small of an area they hit the wall that hard. And then across town, a few minutes away, you have a man that's not actually a man, that's an alien that is hit by a truck. So we got issues here. And I have issues being here. Now at this point, I didn't know if 6-2 had another guy waiting to come down in case this happened, but I don't think he foresaw this happening, but I couldn't take any chances. I had to hide. I had to be away from my friends, and I had to be away from Katie. At this point in time, the only people that knew were David and Alex. I flew over to their house. I knocked on the door. They answered. They asked if I was okay. I told them I was. I asked if they were okay, and I said I was. And then they said, "What happened? What was all that?" I said, "That was Gretchen trying to terminate me. In order for me to get out of this alive, I need to figure something out, and I don't have much time. At most, and now I have 48 hours, but even that's not a guarantee." I told them I had to get out. I told them I had to destroy my phone. They wouldn't be able to contact me, and for safety, I was not going to be contacting them. And unfortunately, I wasn't going to be contacting Katie. I didn't have a rock-solid alibi. I didn't have a rock-solid story. I didn't have time to come up with anything. I told them to tell Katie that my phone is broken and I had to go back to Seattle due to a family emergency, and I will try to contact her as soon as possible. I would have said goodbye to her, but I can't lie to her. So, I didn't go. I regret it to this day that I didn't go. But I left. And I flew, and I remembered in my research, I don't remember where in my research this was, but I do remember reading about a town. About a very small town. So I decided I'm gonna go to this very small town, not very much chance of anything happening there or anybody looking for me there, and I would just lay low and come up with a plan. So I flew to what I'm just gonna call the middle of nowhere, because I don't want to say what state it's in for reasons, but I flew to the middle of nowhere. I found an old barn on an abandoned farm, and I slept in there that night. I told myself the next day I'd get up early, think of a plan, and try to figure this whole thing out.
Negatron killed 2 humans and 1 innocent Gretchen just trying to do his job. Is this your hero? Is this your protagonist? Refuse ever believing Ultron's lies.
In the next episode, things don't quite go as planned, and something very bad happens. In the next episode, we're going to talk about the attack.